Empire Total War is one of those games in the franchise that really needs a lot of love to make it worth playing today. The visuals are not bad, but definitely could be better. It's infamous for having the worst AI, and of course, there's the alternative Napoleon, which is pretty much an improvement in every way. That's why in today's video, I'd like to present to you 5 overhaul mods for Empire that do everything from fixing a lot of the AI issues to adding new regions to the campaign map to unlocking new factions. Everything you would really want in a new and improved Empire, these mods provide. So let's dive straight in. Designed by the famous modder known for making the Ultimate General and Ultimate Admiral games, Darthmod for Empire Total War is primarily accepted as drastically improving the AI behavior. There are plenty of other areas the mod touches on, of course, more realistic unit rosters and unit visuals, an overhaul of Empire's graphics, including visual and sound effects, by the way, but the main reason why people play Darthmod over most other mods is the AI. On the campaign, the AI actually prioritizes defending territory against perceived threats and invades other nations when an opportunity presents itself. Vanilla AI always felt a bit out of the loop on what's going on, often not building up provinces properly, recruiting armies properly, and generally being quite passive. But Darthmod AI, despite the limitations of AI modding, feels a bit more active and engaged, especially on the diplomacy side where the issues were felt the most. I've actually had campaigns where AI factions have become huge empires, so there's definitely more aggression and strategy here, and that is a great thing. Now, Darthmod isn't perfect, of course. The mod introduces much longer battles than vanilla, which is one thing the players complain about. Public order and the economy mechanics in the campaign have been dumbed down a bit, which I don't personally agree with. And as always, there are still bug issues here and there that I would have preferred to have polished out. But overall, from the increased unit sizes to the incredible, for me, some of the best sound effects in the game, it's a solid addition to your mod list on Empire that enhances all the areas that really matter. Next up, we have Imperial Destroyer, another well-known mod in the scene. It actually started not long after the launch of Empire, and its latest version was released back in 2015. As with most other overhauls, it fixes many of the issues with AI behavior, though not to the extent of Darthmod. It fixes bug and crash issues that makes the game unplayable at times, and for me, one of the biggest changes is it adds new content, like new factions and new regions. You've got a more fleshed out North America with a new Comanche region called Quivira, 2 new regions in Europe with Khiva in the Khartoums and Tabuk in Arabia. The mod adds just enough to keep things fresh and just goes to show how much more Empire could have been if it was given more love in the campaign map design. Despite some features in Empire being removed here, like being able to adjust your tax level or the retreat option when engaging in a battle, which really just forces you to think out of the box a bit, other features like the VDM events mechanics or the new and improved unit rosters, battle balancing in both land and naval battles, all make gameplay here really engaging and immersive. And compared to Darthmod and other mods like it, the battles are slowed down, but not too much. And with a submod called Realistic Battles for Imperial Destroyer, things are even more fun with more realistic morale, lower casualty rates, and others. Altogether, Imperial Destroyer really does add a lot to Empire. With the VDM mod, you get new mechanics. With the Realistic Battle submod, that makes the battles even more immersive and enjoyable. The whole thing comes together to be one of the best mods I've ever played for the game. And compared to the other mods on this list, it might do some things that are a bit more unorthodox. It may be a little older and perhaps in some ways a little less polished, but the content it adds, especially with the new regions, makes the mod well worth checking out. Imperial Splendor, much like Destroyer, is a full overhaul that touches every aspect of the game, but the big difference here is the new start date. The campaign begins in the year 1783, which means all the factions have new start positions, circumstances, and coupled with everything else this brilliant mod does for Empire, it kind of feels like a totally new campaign experience. The latest update, released a year ago, does a lot of work specifically for Sweden, Russia, and Denmark, so if you're going to try out the mod, I recommend these factions first. And it's also worth noting there's a faction unlocker, so you're not really limited to just the 9 factions Splendor comes with. For me, the biggest difference here compared to other mods on this list is this start date. It means everything on the campaign map is different. You've got the Habsburg dynasty here. They've got a lot of different provinces across Europe. You've got the Maratha Empire, which has managed to essentially spread out across India a bit more. You've got the independent United States on the East Coast, and you've got also great unique building models, a unique UI. All the building and unit rosters feel really new. The mod just adds a really refreshing and polished take on an updated Empire experience. From the unit visuals, the generally really well done balance, and the new visual and sound effects, the battles are also really good here as well. Stat updates like morale and the accuracy of ranged fire makes a big difference. The AI aggression is much better. There's been a huge amount of work to make sure all the new units in the mod make each faction feel unique and make the battles a balanced affair, and that comes across really, really well. In fact, of all the battles I've played in Empire across all these mods, I would go as far as to say Imperial Splendor might have to be on, or at least near the top of my list. Now, Empire 2 definitely deserves a place on this list, but I have to preface this by saying there is some controversy as to how Empire 2 Total War is made. I was under the impression that Empire 2 had permissions to use assets and work from other mods in its creation. It definitely does feel like a compilation mod of other mods out there, which is why I think it's quite unique. And while I like what's here, I just wanted to let you know that I haven't been able to fully verify the authenticity of Empire 2. That being said, there are still some good things here that I think make it worthwhile to try out. One of my favorite features here compared to other mods on this list is the technology progression, because the vast number of units, over 4,500 units in fact, can be a bit over the top. But a brilliant new tech and unit roster system allows you to start with a military based in pike and shot warfare, and then over time move you into the Napoleonic warfare. So through technology, your military roster will eventually completely change. The mod touches every other aspect of the game as well, of course. Battle AI, building trees, the use of the VDM events mod, just as all the others on this list do. But the Empire 2 technology for me is something that I think sets it apart. The mod definitely comes with its issues though, two of which I need to talk about before moving on. It's definitely one of the least stable mods on this list, with an installation process that takes a lot of effort and with bugs and crash problems that can definitely put you off. Plus, the battle balancing is still just not there yet. Ranged fire feels totally off, and compared to other mods like Imperial Splendor or Darthmod, I think the vast number of units in the mod may have just made it impossible to balance. Together with unit stats that feel a bit wild and all over the place, I would say Empire 2 does a really good job on the campaign side of things, but it doesn't do a good enough job on the battles. Now, the final mod on this list is Pirates Uber Alles. I've been recommended to check this out for a long time now, and in the last few weeks, I've given it the time it deserves, and I have to say, it's completely blown me away. From the campaign start dates of 1700, 1772, or the 1703 Great Northern War, from the updated unit rosters that don't feel too bloated but definitely are very balanced on the battle side of things, to giving you flexibility to choose battle AI behavior, smoke, sound effects, formations, and even a chance to use the expanded regions that Imperial Destroyer adds to the campaign map. PUA gives you a ton of variety and dynamism to Empire that for me is probably the best I've ever seen for the game. It's also a very polished and stable mod. Compared to every other mod on this list, for the amount of content it adds to the game, the modders have managed an incredible balance of replayability, authentic unit rosters and visuals, challenging AI, and new features, of course, like VDM, like campaign start dates, all in a way that has very little bug and crash issues. And for a game this old, with other mods not being able to do this effectively, it's hugely impressive. In this way, PUA doesn't just feel like it adds a lot of content and it's well balanced, etc. It all feels really well thought out and meticulously designed so that you genuinely do feel like everything that's been overhauled has been done for a very specific reason. To me, the mod reminds me a lot of Divide et Impera for Rome 2. The battles are slower, but not slow enough to make it repetitive and boring. The campaign overhauls make strategic expansion feel more layered and challenging. The various factions feel different and replayable. And overall, I honestly feel like PUA could be a more polished version of Empire 2, especially given a lot of what Empire 2 does is borrowed from PUA in a more broken state. I'll be doing this highly underrated mod more justice in its own video in the coming weeks, but essentially, if you want to try a new mod you've never heard of for Empire, this is definitely it. Overall, there are loads of mods out there for Empire Total War that do great things for the game. Darthmod is very well known for its changes to the AI, Imperial Destroyer for its map expansion, Imperial Splendor for its really well designed campaign and a new start date, Empire 2 for the sheer amount of content it adds even if it's borrowed and unstable, and Pirate Uber Alles, which until now I've only ever heard of, but having played it thoroughly in the last couple of weeks, I can honestly say could be my favorite of the bunch. A vast array of issues bogs down Empire and makes it one of the most dated games in the Total War series, and every time I go back to play it in vanilla, I don't really want to. But with mods like these, I'm reminded it can be a very fun time, and while each of them do something different, offer unique overhaul efforts, they all enhance the gameplay in ways that are memorable and are the best in my opinion out of all the available mods out there. And that's it for today, guys. You can find all the links to these fantastic mods in the video description below. Their MODDB pages and their Discord servers all have great installation guides and help sections if you're running into any issues, and some of them have active development, so you can contact like-minded players or the modders themselves in the Discords to keep up to date with their latest work and ask them any questions. This video has been a long time coming, and I really hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comments section below. Subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news just like this. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.